a £100 million goal in its creation, and it's the goal that has denied City the win. But it is a very, very impressive draw, and the Blues are just building up a head of steam at the right time of the season. Just let's see if we can turn this kind of performance into a continuing run of results. The final score at the Emirates: Arsenal 1, City 1. Let's go back to the studio and join Izzy and Nat.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. Thank you very much to Ali Mann and to Michael Brown for the excellent commentary today. So it finishes 1-1 at the Emirates, City conceding in the last few minutes in the injury time of the 90. And I need Izzy Christiansen right now to probably try and make me feel a bit better, because it's a draw at the Emirates, Izzy. Historically, we would take that. We would take that. We would know that Arsenal are one of our nearest competitors. But when you are leading for 80 minutes of a game and you concede in injury time, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it'll feel like a loss, but it's not. It's a point on the road at the end of a very difficult week, challenging week physically for the players, and 2 days rest between the Napoli game, playing here and being pretty dominant in the game. Arsenal had more of the ball, but Man City, obviously, early goal, couldn't hang on in the last minute, and it was the one time that Arsenal managed to get over the top of the City back line, and that is the difference at that level. It's just one little moment, and Martinelli, you got to hand it to him, great finish, but it's a point on the road at the end of a very difficult week. It's not a loss, but I think, that will hurt the players, but fuel the fire, I'm sure, and that guy there, he'll make them bounce back, they'll be fine.
If anybody's wondering who that man there is, that is Pep Guardiola.
Sorry, I didn't know if the viewers were seeing that.
I mean, in terms of, that is Pep Guardiola, who today took off Erling Haaland, put on a defender. The man who was, created possession football with 32% possession today. We saw an extremely different Pep Guardiola setup today.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I really did. Him and his staff will have seen the game ahead, known that Arsenal, they're going to be dominant in a lot of areas in terms of defensively. And I thought they were really pragmatic. Some great scenes there, like Erling Haaland with the fans. But no, I think he'll be delighted with his goal. But I love the way that Pep set the team up. It was almost like stripping any kind of, what he's previously done off his back and said, I'm going to try and be pragmatic. And it was literally minutes away from getting them a result here, the 3 points. And obviously, they do have a result, they got a point, but it will feel hard for the players.
Yeah, it does. We've been the team so many times that have got that last-minute equaliser, that last-minute winner. In fact, the game against Arsenal at the Etihad last year was very similar, but opposite. We were bombarding them, and they were sitting back, and then John Stones got the equaliser in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it happens.
I prefer it that way, by the way, Izzy.
I know. It'll feel more like a win then, but it's still a point, so it's twofold, isn't it? But no, I think I liked a lot of their performance. I thought there were some outstanding individual performances from City. Doku, Haaland. I thought Reinders worked his socks off. I think the back four was excellent. Players that came in, did a job, and then it was just that one slight millisecond of a switch off, ball over the top, and good finish by Martinelli.
Yeah, you mentioned Doku there. I feel like we need to especially give him praise today. Completely different Jeremy Doku performance again than we're used to seeing. At some points in that second half, especially when Haaland went off, he was a one-man attack. He was holding the ball up. He was, the only person in the Arsenal half at times, and it felt like a real team performance from him.
It was, he had to do the defensive work. They know that, and Arsenal have equipped, to dominate the ball, and that's how they want to play. Arteta worked with Pep for a long period of time. A lot of his coaching philosophy is going to be based around possession football. But I think the City, they took their sort of, I don't think they've got an ego at all, but they took it off their backs and they said, right, we're going to defend as a unit. I thought as a team collective, they looked so strong. And like I said, off the back of a really difficult week, 2 days turnaround between the Napoli game and this game, to play the same 11, for them to output that type of performance, it was outstanding, and it was literally so close to being a massive 3 points on the road. But it wasn't to be, and it's a point. It's not a loss, it's a point to add to the tally, and they've just got to keep digging and keep moving forward because this team is starting to change for the better.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Change for the better and change. So I keep using the word pragmatic because that's what it feels like. You know, Pep has changed, and maybe that is also the influence of the new coaching staff that he has around him as well. But it was different, and I think that world football will notice this game and realise that even the world's greatest managers have to develop.
Yeah, and I think we see it a lot on the other side of the city at the moment, managers who don't change their style and it doesn't necessarily get results, but we know that you have to adapt in modern football, and Pep's adapted in modern football over the past 8 years. He's gone through, you know, these cycles of inverting fullbacks, of bringing centre-backs into midfield, of playing a false nine. He's done loads of inventive, clever things, and today I think was inventive in its own right. You know, it was solidarity defensively, it was resilient, it was extremely well coached. Like, my word, when, you know, second half, the coaching, the sort of shape of the team, it was outstanding. And you alluded there to the, you know, the newer coaching staff, Kolo Touré and Pep Lijnders in particular. You can see their work, you can see their passion transmitting to the players, and it's hard to take, but everyone knows football, you know, nothing worth having comes easy, and sometimes you have to sort of take the sort of punch in the stomach, take the point, and move on to the next one and keep getting the points tally up.
Yeah, I think I will feel a little bit deflated now because we were so close to the victory. But I think as I go home, sleep on it, rewatch the highlights, rethink about it, I think hopefully in the coming days we'll all realise, you know, what an important point that was. And what we have seen today is the evolution of Manchester City. And I'd said before the game, I felt like today was really going to show us where we are. Well, I'm really happy with where we are. I feel really comfortable and I feel really hopeful for the rest of the season based on not singly that performance, but performance against United, performance against Napoli, as you said, and then the performance against that. 3 different performances in a week. I feel pretty hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's players coming into form. Doku, I thought he was outstanding. Haaland scoring again. That's a massive tick. I think defensively, you know, the guys at the back, I think Nico O'Reilly and Kushyanov, outstanding. And obviously there is a lot to build on there. But as a player, you know, as a staff, you always want the 3 points, especially when you're wearing that badge there, the Man City badge. You want 3 points, but they're a title rival, Arsenal, and a point in hindsight, you might look back at the end of the season and go, that was a good point.
Oh, I hope so. Absolutely. Let's have a look at the stats from the game now. So you can see there, similar as it was at half-time, 67% possession for Arsenal. I believe, I tried to have a quick look, the last time City had such a low possession percentage was, in fact, when we played Arsenal at the Emirates 2 years ago. So it gives you the idea of how unusual that is for City. Arsenal, obviously, with more shots. That was not the case at half-time, but obviously in the second half, we saw them really building up and really starting to crank up the pressure. 3 shots on target for each team. A lot more corners for Arsenal as well. But, of course, we know that that's the way that they like to play and how much emphasis they put on set pieces as well. But if we compare that to the half-time when, as Yazza said, Arsenal only had a shot on target in the 46th minute in the first half, whereas we could see the amount of shots they had in the second. It's just demonstrative of how much they started to crank up the pressure in that second half. Yeah,
they did. And, you know, half-time, Arteta made 2 changes at half-time. Saka and Eze came on. You know, they definitely had ball-carrying skills. You know, it's hard to defend against. That's where Arteta saw the threat. I thought City's shape stifled that threat to a certain extent, but it was just a little ball over the top. And it came from us having possession of the ball high up the pitch, and it was almost like just see it out. And we tried to play because it was almost there, go for the second goal. So maybe there's a little bit in that in terms of protecting the lead, but you don't know what's going to happen 10 seconds later in a football match. You've got to be ready, and it was clever little run from Martinelli over the back of Guardiola and Stones, and took the space. The one time there was space in behind, they used it and they got a goal from it, but they've lobbed the tallest keeper in the league, I imagine.
And of course the first goal he conceded.
And exactly, yeah, it's a shame, but honestly, that performance, I think, in hindsight, it'll add so much fire to the bellies of the players and the staff, and I think they'll take it and look back hopefully and go, it was actually a good point against a rival.
Because they really, as well, I totally agree, and just to add on to that, they really performed as a team. They were fighting for each other. They were doing jobs that they needed to for the team, which again you saw, we mentioned with Doku, but Haaland coming off, Foden coming off, everybody was sacrificing and working for the sake of the team, and clearly the team unity and the team spirit is you know, is really high at the club at the minute. So again, that kind of builds into why I feel kind of positive going forward. Just another mention on that Erling Haaland goal in the first half. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to catch the highlights a little bit later on, because again, it was a glorious finish from Erling Haaland and some lovely build-up play again from Tijani Reinders.
Yeah, it was class, you know, off to the perfect start, getting the opening goal early on. Yeah, it was Reinders dribbling through, Haaland with a bit of link-up play to start with, pulling, I think it was Saliba, out of position. And then they just got a good 40, 50 metres to run into, to go through on goal with David Raya, and Haaland makes the space. Reinders drives with it, feeds Haaland, and it's a lovely little sort of right-footed across the keeper finish. Yeah, and Arsenal's defence were struggling to get back and keep up with Haaland. But yeah, it was a lovely goal, and they had so much to defend then and something to protect, and unfortunately couldn't find that second for the cushion, but it wasn't to be.
Wasn't to be. Now, the good news is, of course, that City will have a few days off now. We are hoping to go back over to the Emirates, though, by the way, to FG and to Michael Brown to get their opinion on the game and also the atmosphere there as well. But after City playing 3 games in a week, of course, playing Thursday night against Napoli and then playing today away at Arsenal as well, City do have a couple of days off, although not too many, because City will play again on Wednesday night. And in fact, it's going to be a glorious evening of women's and men's football, because the women's team play at 7 o'clock against Everton in the Subway Cup, and then the men play at 7:45, I want to say, but it might be 8 o'clock, Izzy. I think it's 7:45. 7:45 against Huddersfield in the League Cup. And is that still the Carabao Cup?
That is still the Carabao Cup.
Okay, we're hitting the sponsors.
In the sponsors, yeah. And the Subway Cup for the women's, yeah. Both League Cups, though.
Both the League Cups. So really looking forward to a busy night of League Cup football, and we will be showing the women's game on City Plus, so you get the full women's game. Matchday Live will be here with you from 6 o'clock. We will be doing a preview of the men's and the women's game, and then we will be doing watching the women's game and then doing a watch along towards the end of the men's game when the women's game is finished and we go into the men's game. I told you, it's a glorious night of Manchester City football. But Huddersfield in the League Cup, of course, Huddersfield are in League One. They got relegated 2 seasons ago, and there is a lot of pressure. They have spent a lot of money this year. They've brought in Lee Grant, of course, you know, well, you might recognise as a former Manchester United keeper. He was under Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. He's now the manager at Huddersfield, and they've started the season well. We're going to Huddersfield. It's only 45 minutes away, everybody. It's a lovely local trip for City. And I'm just fully expecting, Izzy, I mean, you never know with Pep Guardiola. Clearly, he's kept us on our toes, but I'm expecting them to see a lot of youth players, a lot of academy players coming through.
I think that might be the plan off the back of, you know, the week that the first team have just had. It would be really good to see, you know, maybe some under-21s players get some first-team minutes at that level. It'd be class to see.
And we know that we love the League Cup. City have a phenomenal record of the League Cup since Pep's time that he's had here. Right, we are now going to go back over to the Emirates, where it is, in fact, FG and Luke Stanley.
Yeah, thank you very much. Welcome back to the Emirates Stadium. Myself and Luke here to dissect. I mean, it's a tough one to take. Yeah. Let's not get it... it was very, very well defended for the majority of the game. We get to the last stages, we concede a goal like we do. But in the bigger picture, a fantastic performance, a defensive performance, very positive signs. We seem to be heading in the right direction.
Yeah, well, like we said at kick-off, unchanged team, completely unchanged team. And that was a great start. Haaland got the goal. We were looking very, very sharp. We were looking good. And then what I saw in the second half was a bit of pragmatism. Some of the changes we made were a little bit defensive, but that's what you got to do when you're winning a game, a big game against Arsenal. That's what we did, and for the most part, we saw the game out, but unfortunately, a good goal as well. You can't take it away from him.
Yeah, fantastic goal. I mean, back to what you were saying about being pragmatic. We've seen a sort of Pep adapt once again. He's so good at adapting. We've seen it for many, many years. But again, he's probably looked at it, the state of the game. He made the changes. He brought Ake on. Of course, we lost Kushinov. I think potentially to an injury or something like that. But I mean, it's great to see that we seem to be having that belief back. I mean, fantastic by Rodri, Ruben Diaz, Josko Vardiol. Every single player was fantastic, apart from just that moment.
Yeah, it was a great performance. You think about the actual outcome. We've got 1 point, but it's 1 point from a place where we ultimately were nowhere near getting a point last season. It's 1 point against Arsenal, who were favourites going into the game. They wanted to win the game. They were confident. A lot of the fans we were speaking to before the game were confident they're going to win the game. And we were 1-0 up for a lot of the game, get a point out of it, and it's not a terrible result. I don't think any City fan would have taken a point before the game, but after the event, we feel a little bit you know, like we could have won the game. So it shows how good of a performance it was.
Yeah, it was a good performance, a professional performance. And when you look at the long term, I mean, we know better than anything as supporters of this football club that we fight till the end. There's so many more games to play.
Yeah.
We've improved our result, like you said, on last season, and the team will gain a lot of confidence, because this time last season, when they came to the Emirates Stadium, they lost by 5 goals to 1, and it was resounding, and it was through a very, very difficult run. I mean, do you look at this team and you start to see a lot of solidity again? You start to see a lot of leadership back on the pitch.
I'm liking what I'm seeing, and you know, Haaland is again in the goals. He's got another goal. I think that's 6 in 5 now. He's scored in all the games but 1, I believe. And ultimately, the consistency in the team is what I like. I'm liking to see the fact that we've had the same team unchanged. We're unbeaten across those games, and we've got what is a decent result today. I don't think everyone's going to be buzzing going home. I don't think you can be when you're leading a game and you concede, but we haven't lost the game. We've got a point away from home, and these have to come to the Etihad now later in the season, and that's our chance to try and beat them then. It
is indeed our chance to try and beat them. I mean, a word on the away support. You were
unreal
in the away section. We could hear them all throughout. There was a new chant for a certain goalkeeper as well. Do you want to give us a little rendition?
I won't be giving you a rendition. You can check it out on some of the videos and whatnot. But yeah, Donnarumma with a chant. There's a few shouts at Cousinov. There wasn't really any tune to it, just Kusa, whatever it was. But yeah, it's good to see the new players getting chants, and ultimately it was a very decent performance. Yeah,
a decent performance. I mean, Cousinov in that first half was fantastic.
It's a shame he had to come off.
A shame to lose him, but Mateus Nunes was equally as good when he came on, and that's what we've wanted for a long time: a strength in depth and players to come on and do their job and do it well. Ake was the same.
Yeah.
Thought Nico O'Reilly was fantastic. What an unbelievable academy we've got here at Manchester City.
O'Reilly's played 3 games on the bounce at left back, and he's been unreal in all of them. He came off when we were winning, I believe, and ultimately he's done his job today. He's come off when we're 1-0 up. Unreal performance from him. I'm sure he'll be getting his praise, and it's 1-1. It's 1-1. We can't look at it like we've won the game, because we haven't, but ultimately it's still a decent result.
And what's next for Luke then and MCFC lads? Will you be going to Huddersfield away?
I will be going to Huddersfield away. There'll be a few vlogs and stuff coming along and chants, so just check out all the fan videos that will be coming.
A vlog for today, I imagine?
There will be a vlog for today. Well, it's you know, a shame it isn't a win, but it's a point. It's a point,
an unbeaten start
result.
for you, we'll say. And thank you very much for joining us on Matchday Live. You've been absolutely fantastic and a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who's watched the show as well. It ends at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 1, and we will see you at Huddersfield.
Up the Blues.
Thank you so much to FG, to Michael Brown, and to Luke Stanley there, MCFC lads. I thought you absolutely smashed his debut there, Luke. I hope we'll see you again on Matchday Live. And he will be at Huddersfield, as he said, on Wednesday night, as will Manchester City men for the League Cup, and Manchester City women here at the Joy Stadium for the League Cup as well, versus Everton. Matchday Live will be with you from 6 o'clock on Wednesday, so do join us for a full evening of men's and women's football. Izzy, it's been a privilege as always.
Thank you for having me.
Poor Izzy needs to go home now and have a sit down, because I've picked her brain non-stop for 2 hours.
It's been a good chat.
I apologise.
It's been a great chat.
And thank you very much, all of you, for joining us again on Matchday Live. Oh, we were so close. But I really hope that you can all look back, watch the highlights, and feel a lot of positives around the rest of the season with this club. Now, between now and Wednesday, I have got a great suggestion of something for you to watch on City Plus, because, of course, I'm sure you'll know about now the incredible documentary about Cheeky Uncut, where we sat down with Cheeky and Pep and Ferran, and it is a fascinating conversation. Well, a new uncut version has come out, which you have to watch. So I really look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday night for the Men's and Women's League Cup, and we'll leave you with the trailer for Cheeky Uncut.
No t'ho creas ni tu que estaries 13 anys aquí.
Hòstia, sí, 13 anys.
Jo me'n recordo la primera setmana que estaves aquí i el Chequi diu, això és l'hòstia, aquí no ens coneix ningú.
Jo m'he trobat amb 250 directors esportius i a tots els he dit el mateix. Això és el paradís.
Dels jugadors que has fet pel Manchester City, de quin te'n recordes?
Jo el Fernandinho el tinc així com...
Jo també.
Si està 10 anys jugant i sent d'allò, és bon fitxatge.
És una mica el Kevin després, no? El Kevin.
Com es treballa amb amics és un art, perquè per una banda pot ser que afectis l'amistat negativament perquè un dia ens emprenyarem per alguna cosa. I per altra banda, si no ho fas, si no t'emprenyes mai, vol dir que igual no estàs fent la teva feina. Jo algun dia li tinc que dir al Xiqui, Xiqui, t'has equivocat. O tu m'ho pots dir a mi, l'has cagat amb això, no?
Després de guanyar un triplet, fer la quarta seguida. Hòstia, després de fer un triplet, també veu. Hi ha el punt aquell de,
Després
senyors,
de fer
no?
un triplet, passa el que ha passat aquest any.
Sí.
Sí.
Això era lo raonable. Per acabar, tinc un joc per vosaltres.
Ui.
Tens un joc.
Heu de donar la volta al mantel. I aquí estan tots els fitxatges que has fet.
Hòstia, que bo.